check out that description because that is right. Now, first things first. You know, they say out with the old, in with the new. Because I'm, dominating YouTube. So I need somebody to signify that I am the golden chief, that I am the head of the golden table, and all you acknowledge me. So let's get rid of this and give me something I deserve. So of course I am the golden one. I am him. I am that man. I am Ricky Goldman. And this right here is the channel that you think about before you sleep, the channel that you listen to while you work out. It is the People's Wrestling Channel. Once again, check out that description. So I've got a guest with me. I'm going to bring him in. You know him. He's a man himself, the Irish ace, all the way from Ireland. He is the man himself, the man they call, hang on, Jesus, Ian, Modern Technology.
Hey.
How are you today?
First time seeing the new video, I have to say.
Oh, a new opening. Oh, fair enough, yeah. You probably haven't seen that before.
Of all the clips you pick in, you pick me nearly look like picking me nose.
Fair enough. Okay. This is not what the video's about, but we'll very take 30 seconds to 6 seconds to cover it. Your very quick thoughts of the releases today.
Well, it's not as bad as what it was in 2020 to 2021. The ones that probably will shock the most were Shelton Benjamin and Dolph Ziggler. Particularly
Cross
is not released.
Oh, okay, right then.
The last person to be released was Quincy Elliott. Cross was not released.
Oh, okay, well, Quincy. Okay, then. So yeah, Ziggler, Shelton Benjamin. Does he do Impact?
Is a big loss there because he could have been a trainer for that company.
Shelton Benjamin, does he go to Impact? Ziggler probably AEW. I'm quickly running through them. Quincy Elliott, who bloody cares? Aaliyah, I think she's got a lot to learn. So Indies, I have no idea. Top Dollar, definitely Indies. Emma, probably back to Impact. Madcap Moss, maybe Impact. Who else?
Okay,
Rick Booth. See, Rick Booth is a little bit of a surprise because he's huge. I thought Vince would have loved him. Impact.
I suppose most for Impact. I don't see AEW taking a feud, and maybe if I was Tony Khan, I'd probably take Emma just to work a match with Saraya for old history. And then
the Dyad or Grizzly Veterans, they're a surprise. They're a god tag team. They were in Schism. They were being used. And somebody else we forgot that is a shocker. I'll get to him in a second. I think I could see the Grizzly Veterans going to AEW. What do you think?
No, I don't think. I think they'll go to Impact because there's more of a present, like subculture on Impact. I could see Grizzled Young Veterans.
We don't need to run through all the tag teams in Impact. Just a quick thought. That was all. But the one that's shocking the most, I thought, Ali, who's meant to be on Raw and he's meant to be facing Dominic next week at No Mercy. So that is a shocker. Probably AEW for him, I would say.
Ali has a lot of options, really. He could go to AEW, he could go to Impact, he could go to New Japan to complete in the Super Juniors tournament. He's had an interesting run there from 205 pitting Daniel Bryan.
Oh, definitely a shocker because he was actually being used. He was going to get a title match, so something must have happened. Maybe you said something backstage for him to be released. I don't know. That's 6 minutes of that. I was expecting that to take a minute. That took 6 minutes. Anyway, let's get into what the video is actually about. So, the main event of next year's WrestleMania, will it be The Rock versus Roman Reigns, or will it be Cody Rhodes, if it shows, versus Roman Reigns. I'm very much in the camp of The Rock. Many reasons why I think it should be, and Ian thinks it should be Cody. I've got notes here just to help me along here. So the first and foremost thing The Rock brings in that Cody never will, money. The Rock sells. The Rock's the biggest movie star in the world. Cody's not bringing money in. Yes, he sells merch. So does LA Knight. So LA Knight should main event Mania. Stone Cold sells merch. Cena sells merch. They should main event. Bray, and devastating, horrible what happened to Bray. But he sold belts for $6,000. So if you want to talk about merch, he's the king of merch. So if Bray was still alive, he should face Reigns at Mania. Selling merch really means nothing. So yeah, so Rock brings in money. So what are your thoughts about that, Ian?
Okay, well, I've had a lot of time to think about this all day. Like, Rock versus Reigns, yeah, on paper, it's a good move. And it's also a first good move for the new merger with TKO to throw money at The Rock to have him appear at WrestleMania. If I'm a selfish billionaire, I put money in and go in for Rock versus Roman. But if I'm also a selfish billionaire that also cares about story, I have to think, I've been putting a lot of... Hold on. Let me talk. I've let you talk. Let me talk. I've been putting a lot of builds with Cody Rhodes for the past year. And I can't seem to kick him to the curb just because I'm bringing back someone who hasn't appeared in 4 years. It was 4 years since The Rock last came back to the WWE. Before that, there was no pandemic. Before that, there was no bloodline. So, and for the last year, we've been building up Cody Rhodes because we were supposed to have The Rock versus Reigns at WrestleMania 39. He wasn't ready for it. So we went with Cody. Cody didn't get the job done like we thought of because they wanted to extend Roman's reign to 1,000. The Rock comes back. Yeah, it was a great segment with The Rock and Austin Theory, Pat McAfee. I really did enjoy that. And it did answer a lot of questions. But so now I have to think about this way. If I go, there's two ways. Like, if we go Rock versus Reigns, what happens then? Like, there's two. Like, if we have Rock versus Reigns, what happens then? Like, Cody doesn't get moved to SmackDown. Hang on, just let me think. Just let me speak first. I'll let you speak. Cody doesn't get moved to SmackDown. What happens then? He works probably a program with Seth Rollins and Gunter. He wins the world title, and Seth Rollins goes on a break to go for his back surgery. Cody gets the big win, but as fans...
Yeah, he's not really injured. Seth isn't really injured. That is a kayfabe injury. Seth, it was that guy because very quickly, the PMP, Pancakes and POWERSLAMS things that I promote every single time, the host of that actually has back issues. And I've said, if Seth Rollins had those back issues, could he wrestle? He said, hell no. So it's all kayfabe.
All right, say he takes time off after that, and then Cody holds the title, then he goes into a feud with Gunter into the summer. But he gets his goal, but we will know that that's not the title he's supposed to bring back to the family. We know that in order for him to finish the story, he has to beat Reigns. Okay, they have that. Then we get The Rock versus Reigns. So we look at it both ways. It's a case of there's good or bad. There's a bit of good and there's a bit of bad in this. The good side, we finally get the match. The bad that comes at it is the aftermath. If The Rock wins, we all complain that
we'll get into this later, so I'm kind of going to take this point by point. So you said about the billionaire. I'm sure that R. Emanuel couldn't care less what the main event is. Essentially, it's a brand new... Well, in terms of business, it's a new company. I can't see it drastically changing. We're going to see a brand new WWE. Probably very little change, I would imagine. But essentially, it is a brand new company, but I can't see Aaron Manuel going, well, don't do, for example, this is off the top of my head, don't do Bronson Reed and Chad Gable on Raw. Why does he care? As long as it brings in money. And what brings in money, what's the bigger match? Rock Reigns. The Rock's a money magnet. So as long as it brings in that, I'm sure Ari don't care.
I'm not saying it's not a big match in any way, but like there's good and bad to it from a creative point of view. If The Rock wins, then he holds the title. Then we know that people will say that it'll be annoying for the greatest reign of the modern era ended by a 51-year-old part-timer. And then what happens then? There's another issue.
Biggest movie star in the world, but okay.
Yeah, but hang on. the writer's strike could end before or after WrestleMania, and The Rock might not commit because he'll go back to producing 11 movies, and we're stuck with a part-time champion. And
But
then,
The Rock, we'll get into that also. But The Rock has said that his schedule's not the problem. He could very well control it. On the Pat McAfee show, he said he was locked in. There was never meant to be Cody. Cody was the second choice. It was meant to be The Rock. The Rock's meant to win the Rumble. Nobody thought.
If they had gone with Rock and Reigns at WrestleMania 39, yeah, that's fine. We could have done Cody and Reigns at WrestleMania 40. But then, okay.
So WrestleMania 40, the biggest mania, the biggest, and Tony Khan can say, well, All In is on par with WrestleMania. WWE can say the Saudi shows are on par with Mania. Nothing is as big as Mania except one thing, WrestleMania 40. And the biggest, most intriguing, interested money match they can book is Reigns Cody. No, it's The Rock. The Rock has said on the Pat McAfee show, his schedule's not the problem. The injury's not the problem. It's just they couldn't get to finalize a match. So I think if you've got The Rock and the writer's strike, could end tomorrow, could end next year, could end in 10 years. Who knows? I don't know. No one knows. The booking scene for the Rumble, you would expect that it's not anytime soon. But still, The Rock kind of makes his own movies. His own company makes his own movies, so surely could just take time off. And if you've got The Rock and they go with Cody, what a wrong move that is.
The thing, just here's the thing now. I said about The Rock then, but here's the thing. Say if he breaks Hogan's record. What happened? Hang on.
We'll discuss that now. So that's the rumors. He's going to break Hogan's record. So if you do Reigns, Cody fails at Mania. Because to break Hogan's record, he has to be champion for another year. So by September next year, Reigns breaks Hogan's record. So if that's the plans, Cody's not winning. Yeah, but if he beats The Rock, that's a great way to do it.
Okay, if he beats The Rock, then what happens next? There has to be a long-term plan. We get a year of Reigns. Hang on, me first. Reigns beats The Rock. He goes away to the summer. What's next then? What do they do to extend it? Does Jimmy learn from his mistakes after losing to Jay? Does Solo cop onto himself and challenge it? That's the thing. There needs to be a long-term plan for this. So that's why one of the reasons that they should have Cody for this and have Cody win at WrestleMania 40 to give him his moments. But there's also another way they can satisfy both parties.
Well, and if it's a 2 nights, we'll get to that in a second. But let me play a video first. Wait, play this. Tees, Goldman's, and their socials, so head over to all those right now. So before we get into the two night thing, what else does The Rock bring in that Cody never will? 103 million across social media, and they did, I think it was 2.8 million for the segment. Now, is it Cody's fault that he doesn't bring in the ratings, or is it Raw's 3 hours? People have got to pay for Raw, if they pay to watch Raw, you can watch SmackDown for free, so that's obviously an advantage. And Cody just seems to be caught up with all the other boring nonsense that happens on Raw. So maybe it's not his fault, but I don't think it's 100% to blame. Raw 3 hours, it's a drag, it's not free to watch. But if he was a big enough star, people would want to watch him, and that's one of the main problems of wrestling today. Who's the draw? Reigns isn't the draw because Well, he is the draw, but people will watch no matter what. People watch his SmackDown whether he's on or not. So he's not a draw. He is and he isn't. So The Rock brought in 103 million views. Cody getting a quarter of that. So your thoughts?
Just before we go into my thoughts, just want to read some breaking news here. Fightful.com has reported that Dana Brooke, Mason Mansoor have been released by WWE.
Okay, well, very, very, very quickly discuss that. Mason Mansoor, you could have done something with them. Dana Brooke.
Dana Brooke was a surprise.
Dana Brooke.
She had worked hard, but no, she was never that great in the ring. She started off. Yeah.
You could have done something with her. Let's not make this the Dana Brooke video. I'm just saying, could you do something with her? Yeah, why not? Where did she go?
On NXT, and then she was with someone, and then she was still losing, and they were slowly starting to turn her heel. So we thought that would improve her there.
Yeah,
because
she was Kalani Jordan, so I thought that would be a boost for what do they do with her now. But does Dana Brooke go any of Indies and probably Mason Mansoor the same?
She could go.
But you could have done something with all three, but whatever. Let's move on.
She could have gone to the Indies. She could go to the Indies, or else like some of the money is also in things like she could go on OnlyFans. Like she could make her money there.
Maybe, possibly, but she's going to continue to wrestle at AEW. No,
no, I don't think.
Impact, very doubtful. So probably the Indies. But I think that's enough time spent on Dana Brooke, who was a jobber anyway.
Impact might take her. AEW, no.
Maybe, let's see. Who knows? Probably if I'm booking it Indies, she's not good enough for Impact, but I don't watch Impact, so I don't know. So The Rock brought in the 103 million. It also shows where people are watching. They're watching on social media and not the actual product. But The Rock brought in 103 million. Cody's not even getting a quarter of that. And when I say nobody knows who Cody is, not literally nobody, but a lot more people have heard of The Rock than Cody. You go on the street and ask anybody, do you know who Cody Rhodes is? They're probably not going to know. Do you know who The Rock is? The world knows who The Rock is.
But here's the thing: like you couldn't be a wrestling fan and you could know who The Rock is because you've watched him in Fast and Furious. It's not that hard.
Exactly. Or XFL, or his energy drink brand, or his tequila brand. The Rock's a massive. He's got a lot of cans and a lot of cookie jars.
Like, not everybody watches wrestling, remember? Like, Cody Rhodes is not looking for Hollywood. Cody Rhodes' strength is in wrestling. The Rock got those views because...
My question, what ratings?
Okay, first off, it's not about ratings, and it's not about whose fault it is. The thing is, the difference is, Cody's strength is in wrestling, and he can talk as well. The Rock's main strength, he's an okay wrestler, but his main strength was that he was always better at entertaining. He's the definition of a sports entertainer. That's why he's good at getting the reviews, because when he's not wrestling, he's capable of being entertaining. Like, I am a fan of The Rock, but when it came to the wrestling, I always thought Austin was the better wrestler.
True. The Rock, well, if you look at The Rock, Austin, Hogan, they were never actually good wrestlers. Like Brett, they weren't Brett and Shawn Michaels. They weren't good wrestlers. You are correct. They were entertaining. Which you are correct, but what my question is, well, not a question, your thoughts, Cody doesn't pull in the ratings The Rock does. So, your thoughts on that?
I don't think it's a case of who pulls him in now, but like, Rock pulled him in because the world knows who The Rock is, and like I said, his main strength is that he is an entertainer.
Fair enough. And what was you? Okay, the two nights. Everybody's going to say, well, do The Rock Reigns night 1 and Cody Rhodes and Cody Reigns. Rock Reigns night 1, Cody Reigns night 2. So you're giving Cody a weekend Reigns. And who the hell is talking about Cody winning? The world is talking about The Rock. Nobody cares. Not many people want Cody to be champion. Okay, you've got a select few that do. And then you got the select few that will be happy if Apollo Crews beat Reigns just because they're sick of Reigns being champion for going on 3 years. If you don't do The Rock, if you don't go, and this is the biggest match in history, The Rock is you could say the face of the Attitude Era, Rock Austin, is one of the two, taking on, he's the world's biggest movie star, The Rock, taking on a 3.5-year champion. It does not get bigger. So if The Rock is available and you go with Cody, Cody's going to have to do, and it becomes predictable. I don't think it's 100% predictable if it's The Rock. You would think Reigns is winning, because why would The Rock? It's going to be for the title. And people say, well, don't do it for the title. Well, who wins Reigns losing between now and Mania? He's not going to be sorry, go on.
It doesn't need to be for the title if you do Rock versus Reigns. There's no need for it to be for the title.
And when's Reigns losing the title between now, and he's doing one pay-per-view between now and Mania, so when does he lose it?
He loses at WrestleMania 40. You have him. They've taken Reigns so far as they can. Let him. I think it needs to end at WrestleMania 40. And what's the harm with him wrestling twice? Because look, there was another member of the hang on. There was also another member of the Ione family that did wrestle twice on one WrestleMania, and that was Yokozuna. And Bret Hart wrestled twice.
Yeah, you're talking levels. Yokozuna, Roman Reigns.
Yeah, but hang on, they were both still strong super heavyweight wrestlers. Bret Hart wasn't as built as Yokozuna, but he wrestled twice at WrestleMania, lost to Owen Hart, and beat Yokozuna in the main event.
So why not do Reigns both nights? I'll get to it in a second, but it will be for the title. And if rumours are true, Reigns is doing one pay-per-view between now and Mania, and that's Saudi. Apparently he's missing Survivor Series and the Rumble. See, that makes Reigns, if he's missing the Rumble, the road to WrestleMania, one of the big four, the start of the road to WrestleMania, is not going to be there. Even though, and I'll tell you how I would book Rock Reigns, and I think Reigns should be at Mania, not Mania, Rumble. But if he does miss it, you're putting him on a higher level. Is that big of a star? He doesn't have to be at the Rumble. So what is it? He's got me at Chamber, so he's going to be a Rock Reigns for the title.
But like, because
if you do the two nights, so it's all about Reigns already. He's all over SmackDown. The bloodline's all over. Jay's still part of the bloodline. He's still in the family. He might not be part of the faction. He's still in the family. So Reigns is going to be on both nights. So everybody else that fights for a spot doesn't get the spot. And then you're putting Reigns is on a level no one's going to reach now anyway. But he's in a main event both nights. That puts him on a level never to be touched. And as a weekend, if it's Cody, it's one main event. We can argue, okay, it's 2 nights. It's 2 nights for money, easier to watch, get everybody on the card. So that's why it's 2 nights. It makes it bigger, I suppose, as well. But there's one main event, and that's a main event on Sunday. So if it's Reigns, Cody, and you do Rock Reigns first, Cody's beating a damaged Reigns, that takes it away from Cody, and nobody's talking about Cody's win. Nobody. They're talking about The Rock, the biggest movie star in the world.
Well, there's a way they could have it. Why not have both Reigns and Cody wrestle both nights? Have Cody wrestle solo to get to Roman, and Roman wrestle The Rock, and then it both collides at WrestleMania 40. And plus, Reigns would heal up by then. Like, you don't want to get him too injured, that's all, and you don't want him injured before. And maybe it might be wise to take him off those pay-per-views to prevent injury after Crown Jewel.
No, if it's Rock Reigns night 1 and Reigns Cody night 2, Cody already beaten Reigns, or not 100% Reigns, so that takes away Cody's win.
But Reigns could heal up and be really fit by then. But Reigns could heal up and be very fit by then.
In 24 hours?
Yeah, like he'd be able to.
The Rock just beat The Rock, and imagine you get a good match out of The Rock. So the Reigns isn't 100% going into night 2, and Cody beats him. And there's not one thing about Cody that says to me he should main event the biggest Mania in history. It's what's he done since he came back. Wasn't a main eventer before he left WWE. Wasn't a main eventer in AEW. Wasn't a main eventer when he came back. He main evented Hell in a Cell, a B-level pay-per-view. He got injured, so who knows what would have happened if he hadn't. And he's main evented Backlash. In what way does that make him a main event for the biggest Mania ever?
Like they're building towards it. Like he's basically been built. He has actually become the most top face in that company at the moment after Seth Rollins, and he does deserve to win, because there's another factor to Cody winning, that if Cody beats Reigns and holds the title and becomes a top champion in WWE, they can use him to lure more people from AEW into WWE. We've seen that with Jade Cargill, and we've seen that with Brian Pillman Jr. He could definitely take it on. Oh, sorry, just want to read this, by the way. More releases come true. Dabba K has been released. You know your man used to be with Apollo Crews. Dabba K. I can't pronounce the fucker's name. He's been released.
You could have done something with him as well, but it is what it is. He's playing indies. I don't think he's good enough for anything.
He was not a great wrestler, to be fair.
Okay. Fair enough, but he wasn't. He wasn't Shawn Michaels, but
no, but he was very slow. He was very slow paced.
But could they have done something?
Not as bad as Omos, but he just wasn't. That
could they have done something with him? Yes, they could, but it probably, like I said, just the indies for him.
They can't do everything with everyone, unfortunately, and just obviously he's not suited whatever this plan is for Endeavor and TKO.
Yeah, well, the releases always happen at around this time of year, don't they?
Well, mostly the release happened at WrestleMania. After WrestleMania, the only time someone left after WrestleMania this year was Eric Young, but that was after when Vince came back in control. These are releases that are obviously people who haven't been used and are just not moving the weight with Endeavor, and Endeavor are only using people that can move weight, besides Reigns, besides Cody Rhodes, besides Seth Rollins.
Well, I'm going to play another video and then we'll get to more, and we'll get to how I would book Rock Reigns and what I would do with Cody at Mania, and how you get to Reigns Cody. So I want to cover all of that, but I'll play this first. We are on my socials, and me follow me, do all of that. Another video coming your way soon. So let's say if they don't use The Rock, that's a huge blow to WWE. But because it's Mania 40, so I would have thought, and I'll ream a few legends off: Austin, Rock, Hogan, Flair, Shawn Michaels, for every legend they can possibly get. I would imagine there's some capacity to be at Mania. So if it's Cody Reigns, I don't think you have Cody win. He doesn't win the Rumble. I think that's a Rock or Gunther. If they're clearly going Cody Reigns, Gunther's winning the Rumble. If they're not, the Rock's winning. He doesn't win the Elimination Chamber because you got 2 months then to build Cody into believe that this is the guy to beat Reigns. So after Fastlane, move him to SmackDown. So don't Reigns and Cody. If it's going to be Reigns Cody, get him onto SmackDown, and you make that clear that it's Reigns Cody and Mania. You do all you can to build Cody. I don't really know what you can do. A win over Orton would mean nothing, unfortunately. But yeah, I think you build Cody as much as you can somehow, some way on SmackDown, because while he's on Raw feuding with the Judgment Day, and I like Judgment Day, they're popular, but that's not Reigns' level. That's the kind of not jobbers, but the mid card level. They're like, so I think Cody if it's going to be Reigns Cody, you move him to SmackDown as soon as possible and start some build. I don't really know what. But yeah, what's your thoughts?
I'd say they'll move Cody to SmackDown after Survivor Series, because from looking at Raw, it's more likely what he's doing with Sammy, Kevin Owens, and Jey Uso. They're going to probably be teaming with Rollins to take on Judgment Day, JD McDonough, and Drew McIntyre in War Games. It's looking like it's leaning to that. Then you have Cody win for his team. Hang on. Yeah.
Is there a clear thing of what they're doing with Survivor Series? Is it War Games? Is it Raw versus SmackDown? I don't. Is it a clear thing of what?
I think some lines will lead to War Games because the way we saw what's going on with the Judgment Day and Jey Uso and Drew McIntyre, more likely Seth Rollins is going to get pulled into it after the Nakamura feud, and then we're probably going to get a War Games with Seth and Cody, Sammy and KO and Jay, and there's going to be a lot of mistrust on that team, particularly with the history with Seth and Cody and the history with Seth and Jay, and then like that's going to lead to War Games. Then obviously,
well, my question is, do we know what's happening in the Survivor Series War Games? Is it Raw versus SmackDown? Have they actually said?
There's a lot of mixed opinion, but I could just see it going into a War Games match. And then you move Cody to SmackDown after whatever you do with Reigns, and then you start a little build. No, he doesn't need to win the Rumble again. You definitely give that to Gunter.
Or The Rock. If you're doing Rock Reigns, it's The Rock. It's Rock or Gunter. It's one of the two, I think, yeah.
But then, okay, if you want to make him a challenge for him, you have him be the first entrant in the Elimination Chamber and go all the way with, and then, but you need to.
So you've got 2 months to build a guy that's going to beat Reigns.
They can do it.
What?
They've done it. They did it before. They did it with him last year, and he main evented it well. But like, you need to put in.
What was it meant to do? It was never meant to main event.
I know that, but like, he still ran with it. But like, the question is though, if he's going into Chamber, who do you put him in with to be a challenger?
You do not put him in. You don't have a 2-month build for the guy that's going to beat Reigns at WrestleMania 40. He's not Payback. This isn't a random SmackDown. It's WrestleMania 40. Does not get bigger. You said something else and I forgot already.
I said, who do you put him in with in the Chamber match coming up?
You don't put him in the Chamber. You don't have him a 2-month build. You give him as long a build as possible, starting now, really.
You could start the build after Survivor Series and you give him all the obstacles you can. So you start him at Survivor Series, you have him confront Reigns.
So Rollins, it's very, very quick go back to Rollins. I would do, clearly it's going to be Rollins, Nakamura at Fastlane. You then do, okay, you do Drew, Cody, and Jay versus Judgment Day. Cody wins. Drew turns on Cody, and it's Drew, Cody, and Saudi. You could do that, maybe. I don't know.
And then you bring all them together for War Games. You bring Seth, Cody, KO, and Sammy and Jay against Drew, Judgment Day, and McDonough.
And if it's they are doing, you could do Rollins, Drew for the title, maybe, possibly, or you could have Rollins in Chamber, and then Priest could attempt to cash in. There's that as well.
But Priest could cash in before the year is over. Remember,
could do. He could cash in on the next Raw, but another thing that I would maybe go for is if it's going to be Reigns, Cody wins, and Priest cashes in at Mania against Cody. Do they do that? What's a bigger push? If they want to push Judgment Day, there's no bigger push than that.
No, I think they'll go with Cody just winning straight up. I mean, it'll be very similar to Brett winning at WrestleMania 10 and Danielson winning at WrestleMania 30.
But Cody's going to have to do so even if the writer's strike ends tomorrow, The Rock's still going to be available for Mania 40. He kind of said on the Pat McAfee show, his schedule's not the problem, he can control it. So Rock's available. So The Rock is definitely available for Mania 40, even if he makes 10,000 moves between now and April.
And are you basically looking for something for him to do if he's not?
No, Cody's going to have to do everything to win over the crowd when people don't care about him.
The crowd,
everybody wants Cody. Not everyone watching WWE wants Cody to be champion. Please only select you.
But you also have to accept that not everyone doesn't want Reigns to have a long reign. Like eventually they want him to drop it while it's been good, so they don't overdo it and make the reign stale. Like it's been a very good reign. Just let it end near Hogan, and that. So
what I would do with Cody at Mania is he faces Cena. Now a win over Cena. Now Cena's had a big win for years. His last big win was Jesus, Mania 31. Since then, what's he really done in the last 10 years?
He won Mania 31.
32.
He won
Cena.
Mania 33, Cena and Nikki Bella against Miz.
That wasn't a big win. I'm talking a big win. So that was a big win. Okay, then Mania 33 then starts nearly 7 years. But a win over Cena is still huge, but at the same time, it's not really. It is and it isn't. So you have him beat Cena, retire Cena, and then you have Reigns go off to Hollywood for the 3 months, and then you have Cody saying, Reigns isn't here. You need a champion I'm going to be the champion of the people. You say basically what's happening. Cody comes out, grabs a microphone. Reigns isn't here. He's too busy to turn up to work. And that would also boost the title if Reigns goes to Hollywood as champion. Cody says he's not here, too busy, too lazy to turn up to work. By Mania 41, I think Reigns is about 300, 400 days away from surpassing Backlund. So you have Cody stop that. You have him Reigns surpasses Hogan, no doubt. But you have Cody stop him surpassing Bob Backlund and going into. So I think if Reigns does that, he's never losing. But do I think he surpasses Hogan? It wouldn't shock me. Because why would you take the title of something? Right, WWE is a business to make money. Who makes money? Reigns. Who's made the most money than anybody before? Reigns. So why would you take the title off him ever? But I understand one day he's going to lose. But I think he surpasses Hogan. But I think you have Reigns, Cody, Mania 41. And he beats Cena next year. There we go. Well, what else do you do with Cena, I suppose? So your thoughts on that?
Okay, say if that all happens, here's the thing. What else can they do at Reigns to lead up to WrestleMania? Another year, like, they have to have a long-term plan of what they're going to do. Like, say, like, he retains against The Rock. What do you do then? As I said before, does Jimmy comes to his senses after he loses to Jay? Yeah, but nothing then. That's causing... That's
you're in some dependent from Islam and that's it.
And say he gets by Jay. What happens? Does Solo come to his senses? He has to get by Solo. Like, you have to have a long-term plan going into this.
Reigns defends at SummerSlam, and that's it. That's all you do with him.
If you do nothing for them, what's going to happen? Fans are going to be pissed. And, like, we'll still hear, I have to finish the story. I have to finish the story.
Put heat on Reigns.
I know, but I think he has enough heat as it is. Just let it... That's why it probably should end at 40, so he can take the break he needs, go to Hollywood, and let Cody run the show. And with Cody as champion, it lures more people from AEW into WWE who are not being used there. We've seen it now with Jade Cargill. She's coming up. Brian Pillman Jr. is on NXT. We're still waiting on him. So more could come.
But WWE will lose a lot of money and a lot of fans because, like I said, nobody wants Cody to be champion. People will be happy with Apollo Crews with the right build becoming champion because finally Reigns isn't champion. So those people are happy. And the people that do want Cody to be champion are happy. But the people that don't, which are a much larger number, will switch off SmackDown and never watch again. So they'll lose those people.
But it's also a case of you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. So you'll have to. They have to just take a chance either way. They'll have to just take they'll have to take the good from the bad. Like they'll lose some viewers, but they could also gain some viewers. Like it'll go either way. They'll still be around, and people will still watch SmackDown. People will still watch Raw.
Your marks and hardcore fans will watch SmackDown, but they watch SmackDown no matter what. But the one that just watch for Reigns
will play a part in whatever idea Endeavor and TKO have for the company going into the new season after Mania.
But the fans that watch purely for Reigns, they won't be watching anymore. So
there are some that may go away and some that may not go away. So like they'll just have to take the good from the bad.
Like I've said, we'll see. SmackDown SmackDown will go to the USA Network, but that's not till October. But SmackDown will still be free to watch. Yeah, and it's 2 hours, so that will only help Cody. So I guess we'll wait and see. But then if Cody's such a big star, people would want to pay to watch Raw. Simple. If you stuck Reigns on Raw, The Rock on Raw, people want to tune in to watch that. So
Yeah,
Cody isn't that big of a star if they're not wanted to pay. So I'm going to play a few videos here, and then we'll get into how I would book Rock Reigns, and then I think that's it. So I'm going to play this first.
Welcome to my store on Pro Wrestling Tees. Check out my beautiful dog logo on this black t-shirt, or how about this waffle on this gold nice t-shirt we have here. And here are a few other designs. We got some on white, some on sand, two-sided shirts. Don't forget to search Billy Ray Dog on Pro Wrestling Tees. Billy Ray Dog on Pro Wrestling Tees. With that on Pro Wrestling Tees, more shirts are always coming.
That is right, and I showed the banner before, and it's not coming up now. Oh, it is. There we go. So Pro Wrestling Tees, Billy Ray Dog, go and buy a t-shirt. Another video that you most certainly, everybody, one's up in the air, and you must all hang on, acknowledge. That is right, GWO, Gold World Order for Life. And this final video, is I'll wait anyway. But next year, the hottest podcast to hit the screens. YouTube, Facebook, X, Twitter, call it what you like. And this is just a sneak little peek. So that is right. Next year, January 3rd, 2024, put it in your calendars, the Reign Rock podcast. And of course, Ian, you'll be my co-host. Are you looking forward to that every week?
Yes, we do. Just want to read something here for a quick second. Shanky has been released.
Yeah.
I wasn't a fan. So
again, probably could have done something. He's probably going to be in. Do they have India?
I'm sure they do.
In India. If they do, that's where he's going. Otherwise, nothing.
I think he could just be a backup dancer, and that's all it is. I think.
Yeah, I was just going to say that you could bring him out, and he could warm the crowd in an indie show or something. Yeah.
I think this is mostly the release of just. They're just not really suited for whatever Endeavor plans.
Wasn't he just on a show in India? Anyway.
He was.
So yeah, podcast every single week. I am hoping to really kind of get into interviewing wrestlers. So Ian, if you know any wrestlers, I don't know if you know any that could come on and we interview them together, then perfect. So
I'll have a look about, see what I can do.
So how would I book Rock Reigns? I think Reigns should be at the Rumble. It's in Tampa. So you have Reigns beat whoever, destroys whoever. Out comes the Rock bottom, points at the sign. That's your match made. It doesn't need a story. Well, the story is the family. It's a fight for the head of the table, the cousins. Reigns talks about the Rock following SmackDown. You have Rock Reigns face to face on WrestleMania SmackDown, and that's where the Rock will talk about last time they were in Philly. The Rock is the people's champion, and the people turned on The Rock. The Rock did everything he could to get over Reigns, and he still turned. He could also talk about The Rock has put Reigns into his movie, Hobbs and Shaw, and then Reigns was in another movie, only a little part, but he was in a movie, so in one way, and it was awful, the world shut down, it was devastating, people died, but in one way, kind of thank you, COVID, because what would have happened if it wasn't COVID? Would Reigns now be in Hollywood? So in one way, thank you, I suppose. But The Rock could say, I brought you from a bland, push down people's throat, boring babyface to the tribal chief, to the head of the table we now see in front of us. The Rock could say, I made you. You then have The Rock go in the Hall of Fame. He doesn't have to be from Philadelphia. Batista was not from, where was it? LA. He was meant to be going in the Hall of Fame this year. So Rock goes in. That's huge news for the Hall of Fame that many people will say is boring. Because unless you're a hardcore fan, it is really, because there's so much going on during Mania weekend. It's just talking. I've also heard many people say Undertaker talked too long. Like, it should have been. I don't. For me, he didn't talk long enough. It's the Undertaker, the greatest gimmick ever. But that's huge news for the Hall of Fame. Rock does his speech. Reigns spears him. Cuts a little promo. There you go. That's your match made. It doesn't really need a build. Done. So, what's your thoughts on that?
You want him to spear him at the Hall of Fame?
Rock does his speech. The little credits come up in the corner. You think it's over. Spear. Reigns goes, I'll show you, Mr. Hollywood, who the star is. Acknowledge me. Does a little tiny promo. Done. Yeah.
It would get people talking, but if they didn't have Dominic Mysterio attack Ray during his Hall of Fame, what are the odds they're going to have Reigns attack him in his Hall of Fame?
Yeah, but Dominic and Ray, Rock, Reigns, the biggest match ever.
Yeah, well, I just mean if they're not going to attack at the Hall of Fame, what are the odds they're going to? And like, sure, what are the odds they're going to do the same thing? What are the odds they're going to attack? They might. I
didn't say that. I said how I would book it.
That's how. Like, they might keep them separate till then, in case Rock gets injured.
Gets injured by coming out and talking.
No, if Reigns attacks them.
We only spear him. You keep them separated until Rock comes back at the Rumble and he doesn't show up until WrestleMania SmackDown. You keep him off TV for that long. But Reigns builds a match. The face-to-face WrestleMania SmackDown, they're just talking, and you have one quick spear after the Hall of Fame. I'm sure The Rock can say that if you're doing a match.
He better be able to take it.
And Reigns will take care of him, his family, and obviously Reigns knows that Rock's got movies to make. But your thoughts on that booking? Would you book it like that, or would you book it differently?
You could do a few little different booking segments. Maybe you could do some form of history between the two. Would you bring back The Rock's music show?
Yeah, like I said, I think you keep them separated till WrestleMania SmackDown. You keep them separated for 3 months, 2 months, whatever.
But you have to have some form. You have to have some form of interaction with the two.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. True. Yeah.
You have to have Rock make a few appearances, taunt Roman. Like, he had to make a few appearances when he was taunting Cena.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I agree with that. Then. Yeah.
You bring back Live with The Rock, where he gets the guitar and starts singing stuff about Roman Reigns. Yeah,
okay, yeah, I would do that then, and that would obviously boost up the SmackDown ratings, and make them look good heading into October, going to Fox, not Fox USA. But yeah, I would do. Yeah, you could bring back his whatever it was called, the Rock concert, wasn't it? Yeah, you could bring that back. Yeah, you could. Yeah, you could do that. Yeah, so I think thinking about it, if you keep them separated for 3 months, that's like. What does Reigns do? How does he build a match? So Reigns
could do his own talking as well. Like, he could bring up some history with the family.
Would you bring up how The Rock got booed in Hollywood, in Philly?
You could bring that up. You could bring up a lot of times the media hasn't been kind to him over recent things in life, like everything that happened between him and DC, the allegations of kidnapping. Young Rock being cancelled.
But that's not Reigns' fault, is it? Well, you
No,
could.
but you could use that because they were weak moments in the Rock's career in Hollywood from last year. I mean, the failure of Black Adam, all the stuff that was going on with him and DC, like preventing certain things from Shazam 2. Young Rock got cancelled. Fast
could
10
even-
didn't do that well.
You could even say in his whole storyline, The Rock could say, after the Rumble, I took it down with Sparrow and my movies weren't as popular. Yeah, he's obviously lying.
Reigns is not going to do like... Reigns not going to be like Cena and insult The Rock for being a tooth fairy. Reigns is going to go...
But The Rock could turn around and say, I got booed and the people didn't come to see my... Yeah, well, obviously he's lying because The Rock's The Rock. All these movies are successful, but...
Black Adam was successful.
Overall, all these movies do very well.
I wouldn't say...
But The Rock could come out and say, I took it down with Spiral. Go on.
You can't put plaster on a wall and fix it because that doesn't it. Because you can't put a bandage over something and
The Rock has been extremely successful in movies. Okay, he's had one bad movie or a couple of bad movies.
No,
what actor doesn't?
He's had many a bad movie now. You can't
right. But what I'm saying is, you could come out and say the movies after Rumble 2015, was it Mania 31? 15, was it? Yeah. So you could come out and say my movies were flops. You could say that maybe. Would you bring up the fact that The Rock put Reigns into movies and made him basically?
Well, no, because he hasn't been in any movies. He's only had one. He only had 150. He only had 1 second of it.
Hobbs and Shaw, and then he was in The Wrong Missy. I don't know if you've seen it. Nice comedy, but Reigns is in it. But if COVID hadn't happened, where could Reigns now be in Hollywood? So The Rock could say, "I made you."
If he had gone to Hollywood at a later stage, maybe he could have, but he hasn't gone to Hollywood. He's focused being on wrestling and he focused on recovering from his chemo.
That's only because COVID happened. Probably, maybe.
Yeah,
who knows? Who knows what would have happened?
Before COVID, Reigns' major problem was everything that happened with his leukemia. So he wouldn't have been in Hollywood yet if the leukemia had gotten worse.
We'll never know. We'll never know.
Thankfully, he's gotten better, so I'd rather not.
COVID obviously was the main factor why nothing happened. The world shut down.
And now the Hollywood world is shut down again because of the writer's strike. So it'll be a while before Reigns gets any movie.
I bet Hollywood are interested, and they've got to be. Reigns is one of the most recognizable people in the world. Like, if they're not interested, then they're idiots. Now, do I think he'll be The Rock in movies or Tom Cruise or something? No. But could he be a Cena? Yeah, maybe. Cena started out in the Marine, so I don't know.
I wouldn't say he's the most recognizable person in the world. He's the biggest box office draw when it comes to wrestling, yes. But is he the most recognizable person in the world? No. No. I said he's one of. Many people knew Reigns is, I would imagine. He's one of the most recognizable wrestlers in the world. He was number 2 in the PWI for this year, only behind Seth Rollins.
I'm sure he doesn't care about that. When he's looking at those zeros on his checks, I'm sure he doesn't care.
He's a heel, so he's not going to really he's not going to really worry about that. We're set as a face and Reigns.
Isn't it written by Uncle Dave?
No, that's PWI Pro Wrestling Illustrated. Dave.
Yeah, who writes it?
I don't think that's written by. I'll look it up now, but I don't know if it's Meltzer.
If it's Meltzer, I'm sure Reigns doesn't care at all. Like Rollins said, if you caught what Rollins was on Logan Paul. Logan Paul said, "What do you think about the ratings?" And he kind of just laughed and said, "It's an opinion. I don't care. If you don't like my match, you don't like my match. It doesn't bother me." So I imagine Reigns and everybody else probably feels the same. It's an opinion. Why would they care? Like Kurt Angle has never had a 5-star match, like according to Dave Meltzer. Like what?
He had some great matches.
Undertaker Shawn Michaels wasn't a 5-star match, so it's really just an opinion.
That's a lie from Dave Meltzer. That's a lie. That was a 5-star match.
It is, but he gave it, was it 4.5? So it is really just an opinion.
Yeah, and that's Meltzer's opinion. Like he's well up in certain people's pockets.
Yeah, a lot of people, because Dave Meltzer's been doing it a while, and he watches all wrestling, studies all wrestling. That's going to be time consuming, but he gets paid a lot, so whatever. But he's been watching it a long time, and he knows, he's very knowledgeable, so people take it as he's like God. But have you found out who writes PW Insider, whatever it's called?
I will after this.
But yeah, it is just an opinion, and yeah, that's all it is, really. Like, I could say, well, it's a 5-star match, but no one listens to me because I'm not Dave Meltzer. But it's going to be time consuming to watch all WWE, AEW, Impact, New Japan, every other wrestling company out there.
The publisher for Pro Wrestling Illustrated is Stanley Weston.
That's a publisher, not a writer.
Well, there's obviously different writers in there. Meltzer could be one of them, but like he doesn't write everything for it, so.
Fair enough, right? That's just an opinion then, isn't it, I suppose? But yeah. So, yeah. So, like I said, I've given my reasons why I think he should be Rock Reigns. If the Rock's available, he basically said that on the Pat McAfee thing. For people that haven't watched it, go and watch it. If you know, it's a great interview. But The Rock's available no matter what, really. So they go with Cody, the biggest Mania ever. When it wasn't meant to be Cody this year, he was second choice. Ugh. Nothing about Cody says to me he should headline WrestleMania. And WrestleMania on top of that, Mania 40.
It will be the start of him becoming a star. But here's the thing now. We've talked about what would plan B be for The Rock if he was to show up Mania, and we don't have Rock versus Reigns, like Reigns and Cody main events night 2, Jimmy and Jay main event night 1.
I don't think you give Bloodline, because there's still Jimmy and Jay are still Bloodline by family, so I don't think you have Bloodline main eventing both nights. I don't think you do either Rollins if he's still champion of the women.
But hang on, you had Bloodline main eventing both nights of Mania this year, so.
Fair enough. Yeah, true. You did, but you did it again. You did. They did, but you do it. Okay, but it's Mania 40, the biggest Mania of all time. So do it again next year? I don't think Jay and Jimmy. Sorry, go on.
You could do Rock versus Reigns next year, because by then Reigns would probably be without the title, and now he has to fight to get his prize.
Who does he lose to? He's doing one pay-per-view.
If he does Mania, then he loses to Cody.
What, night 1?
No. He say if we don't get if the Rock and Reigns doesn't become one of the main events of Mania, and they give the main event spot to Jimmy and Jay in night 1, and Reigns versus Cody at night 2, Reigns drops it to Cody. Cody takes.
Isn't that super obvious though? You're making the Mania main event and Reigns title reign super obvious.
If you build it up and you make both strong, then you're gonna make it believable.
Yeah, because Cody's gonna have to be totally able to get everybody on side.
Well, like I think the first, like he has a lot of people on side. Like the first thing you have, he's got people on side. He does get a good reaction. I've seen him get a good reaction. We saw.
What are those people that are his fans? Are they people that would boo Hornswoggle if he came back and got the right build and beat Reigns? Is it the fact that he just stick a Reigns?
No, people will cheer for whoever they want and they'll boo for whoever they want. It's the free country. So, like, if both men
Correct. But I think there's a lot of people that'll be like, "Oh, Reigns has lost, hooray!" Whoever beats him,
they will be that, and then Reigns can take a time off as long as he wants. He goes.
I think if he loses at Mania next year, he's never coming back. A 3.5-year title reign.
Unless they do the Rock and Reigns at WrestleMania 41. But here's another question now. Say if, as I said,
Mania 40 is bigger.
Say if we don't get Rock versus Reigns, say if Rock versus Reigns doesn't happen at WrestleMania 40, and those two matches I mentioned main event both nights, what would you do with The Rock? You have him make an appearance. You have TKO and Endeavor. It's their first WrestleMania. They want The Rock there. They're going to throw a lot of money at him. What would you have him do?
Well, some people have said Rock Theory. Hell no, hell no. The Rock's going to beat Theory and then be gone, probably never to be seen again. So that buries Theory, and Theory beats The Rock. No.
Okay,
So that's a hell. That's a no. What would I do with that? I think beat Face Reigns. I think that's the only option.
But then don't have him. Well, then don't have him wrestle a match if he doesn't face Reigns. Have him work on the Grayson Waller effect.
Yeah. Okay. Then you could do a segment. Yeah. True. Yeah. You could do that. You could still be okay. You could still be there. Then yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I agree with that.
You have him work with Grayson Waller. Another option, and I know you're not going to like it, but I don't care. You could have
LA Knight.
LA Knight. Yeah. It could probably expose LA Knight as a Rock wannabe, but
I think Grayson, if you're not doing Rock Reigns, then the Grayson Waller route is the right way to go. I think Grayson Waller's called out The Rock, so yeah, The Rock could remember that.
Yeah.
Very quickly, speaking of LA Knight, apparently he's going to be doing promos with Reigns, so now we have to believe that LA Goof Knight is going to beat Reigns, because surely it leads to a match. Is that the Survivor Series match? Because you don't do the Rumble. He's facing Styles in Saudi.
It probably won't be a Royal Rumble match now. Maybe they could end up doing something with the Bloodline and the OC, because the OC thankfully didn't make the cut this time on the cut list.
I'm talking about LA Knight, your favourite. He's now going to be doing promos with Reigns. Through that, it leads to a match.
That will be interesting. It really depends if they decide to push him for that one. Like, I wouldn't say he's winning now, no, but I'd like to see him go with Roman. I'd like to see him work with Roman.
Reigns is going to waste his time, the LA Knight. And he's been champion for way over 1,000 days and 3 years, and now we have to believe LA Knight's beating him. Okay. Well, look, and it wouldn't shock me if WWE did that, because I think the person that beats Reigns needs to be skyrocketed, and Cody's the same age as Reigns.
Sure, we also have to believe that. Sure, like, we're top at age here. No, we're top at age. Like, we're having Reigns face AJ Styles at Crown Jewel. AJ Styles is 46, a few years old.
Okay. Speaking of age, LA Knight's old. Okay, so LA Knight, but then it would skyrocket LA Knight. So
it would skyrocket him. Like, and he's held the fort since Reigns is gone on his break. So he's held the fort.
Yeah, he's not a replacement for Reigns, definitely.
I'm not saying he's a replacement, but he's
filled his spot.
It's not that he's holding the fort. He's holding the fort until Reigns comes back. He's holding the fort till Reigns comes back.
Cena is holding the fort. And also, a quick question is: if there wasn't a Hollywood strike, Cena and Rock can be back, and if Reigns is taking time off because he's injured, what would they do?
With Cody as champ.
No, what would they do to pull in ratings?
If Reigns wasn't, if there was a Hollywood strike,
Rock and Cena wasn't there, and the Hollywood strike doesn't exist, and Reigns is taking time off because he's injured, what do they do? Who's pulling in the ratings?
They still have to go. They still have to go with what they use. Like, Triple H is not running around like a headless chicken trying to call in Brock Lesnar or Goldberg. He's going with what he's got. He has to work with what he's got. So you have to. He's
calling Cena to pull in the ratings. Okay.
He's calling Cena because there's a strike. There's no harm. It gives Cena something to do, but it's also it helps people get over. It helps LA Knight get over. They should do Cena and Cody to give Cody another boost there.
I'll just say Cena, Cody at Mania, but we'll get into that. Your thoughts on that in a second. But great, they've got Cena. He pulls in the ratings. He's a megastar. He's well known. If he can wrestle, he's allowed to wrestle. Why not? Why wouldn't they use him? But what I'm saying is if the Hollywood strike didn't exist and Rock Cena wasn't there and Reigns off because of injury, oh dear.
Okay,
but you want go on? Sorry.
Well, Reigns is gone. Brock is gone as well. So they still have to work. They just have to work with what they've got. They have to work with people who are still getting reaction from fans, like a Cody, like a Seth Rollins, like an.
But on Raw. I'm talking about SmackDown.
Okay,
on SmackDown, what would they do?
You go with what we got. LA Knight is getting over as a fan. Start develop Austin Theory to be a top heel. Start putting developments into Bobby Lashley's faction.
That's all. That's very much treading water and just doing what they can to get to Mania, and that's what it very much feels like.
Maybe start developing guys like Solo Sikoa.
But these aren't rating pullers like Rock, Cena, and Reigns, so I think
I'm not asking them to be rating Rock, Cena, and Reigns. I'm just going with what I've got. I'm going with what people like when the Rock and Cena are not there.
Yeah.
I'm not panicking or running like a headless chicken.
I think they would be in a tough spot though if they didn't have Cena. I think they would be. And
they've got Cena now. Like, yeah, that's fine, but he won't be there forever. So Triple H is not like Vince. He's not panicking and running around like a headless chicken, depending on the past. He's using what he's got.
But if Cena wasn't there to pull in the ratings, I think they struggle. But so your thoughts, if they do Cena Cody at Mania, would you not do that match?
If it leads to getting Cody back to Reigns at next night WrestleMania, yeah. If not, if you're not doing Cena versus Cody, give Cena Solo. And what we saw on SmackDown.
That's a Rumble match.
But what if they change it to Mania? Like, it sounds like a bigger stage. Like, another reason to give Cena and Solo at Mania is if they decide to put Umaga in the Hall of Fame, and you could bring up Solo, talk about his history, about the history with Cena and Umaga, that Cena buried Umaga, and Umaga was never the same after the Rumble in 2007. So there's payback there, the son trying to avenge his father.
So, like I said, do Cena... Cody wins, and then build Cody till Mania 41, and he beats Reigns at 41. But then you could do that. You
have to give Cody other people as well, like, because if he's doing nothing but calling out Reigns till WrestleMania 41, it'll just dry up. Because remember when Roman lost to Brock at WrestleMania 34? And he had to spend and then he lost the steel cage match at Saudi, and he had to keep calling for Brock Lesnar and all that, and then he had to go through a terrible match with Jinder Mahal and a few not so great matches with Bobby Lashley to get back to Reigns. Like, don't do that, because they'll just like he won't.
Who is to build Cody? Apparently, Edge could be done. Could very well be done. Cena will be gone.
If Edge resigns,
could very well right at this moment. Could be done. Edge, we just said about Edge. Cena will be done. You build Lashley. You could have Lashley and Street Profits build them at Mania, give them a Mania win, and then Lashley, Cody. But that's it. You got Lashley. Orton, if he comes back, you could. Do Orton? If Orton's coming back, do you do Orton, Cody in Saudi? Is that the Saudi match?
It could be. It'd be a good one. They've always had great chemistry.
You have Cody. Cody's team wins, so it's Cody, Jay, Drew, beat Judgment Day. Judgment Day shouldn't be losing the champions, but it's WWE. Judgment Day lose. Drew turns on. Drew turns on.
Cody.
Drew turns on Cody, I think.
Yeah, they could have a match before Cody goes to SmackDown.
And then Orton comes back out on the following Raw, and you think, oh, he's here to congratulate Cody, RKO, and that's the start of their feud.
He is actually coming back, because apparently he was seen in the Performance Center.
That means nothing, though. Until he turns up on TV in a match, I'm not going to believe it. So he could be there to give the NXT guys advice. He could be there just doing a meeting. He could be there for anything. So, like I said, until he turns up in a match, it's just speculation and rumours for now.
Oh, he's gone. Oh, you're back.
Neither of those should be losing. You don't have Cody lose, and you don't have Drew lose. Drew needs all the momentum he can get. He's now.
But then don't do the match. Then don't do the match.
Okay.
Don't do the match.
I think a heel turn for Drew is coming. I think he's turning heel soon.
It looked like it's coming for what I saw at the end of the Raw after the match he had with Jay.
And I know you do to build Cody. You have Drew turn on Cody,
or you have Drew turn on Cody, Sammy, KO if they're starting.
Yeah, just Cody. Cody gets a win. Claymore by Drew. There you go. He turns.
And then we get our War Games match: Seth, Cody, KO, Sammy, and Jay versus.
But what do you do for Saudi then? Who does Cody face at Saudi?
If he's at Saudi. Well, like, I'd say...
You don't have Cody on one of the biggest shows of the year.
I'd say at Saudi, you'll have Cody teaming with maybe Sammy, KO, and Jay to take on all members of the Judgment Day, and either McDonough or Drew.
Well, I guess you just do the same again.
Then you add the bonus and go War Games, and then
so what's the Fastlane match then? So you have Judgment Day losing to Fastlane and Judgment Day losing to Saudi.
No, you could have Judgment Day win a Fastlane, and then you increase.
How does that build Cody?
Well, he doesn't have to. Hang on, he doesn't have to take the pin. Cody doesn't.
You got Cody win in 3 turns.
You don't have to have Cody take the pin. You could neither have Kevin Owens or Sami Zayn take the pin.
Jay, Drew, Cody, I think, is the direction they're going to go.
Jay, Drew, Cody, as in
taking on Judgment Day.
You could have that and you could have Jay take the pin for Judgment Day.
Definitely doesn't build Jay.
But
Jay needs to look.
But it's early days for Jay. I mean, you didn't have Jay beat Drew on Raw.
True, DQ finish.
You have to remember, Jay's only gotten here, and he has to earn his story. He has to earn his stripes.
Did Drew win? Did he?
I don't know if he won exactly, but whatever. I'd say it was something. Whatever happened, he was attacked by.
I thought it was a DQ finish. So I think Jay won by DQ. It's still a win,
at the end of the day, Jay has to earn his stripes, so he has to earn his stripes.
But if you're doing Jimmy, and that's not the main event, that's not a big enough match for a main event. But if you're doing Jimmy at Mania, Jay's got to look super strong going into that.
I think that will still main event. I'd say they will be able to build a good story with Jimmy and Jay. I'd say they both be able to get people talking. Like we saw how they.
I do. If you want to make the world title important, it still feels very much secondary to Reigns' titles. If he's got 1, 3, 10, let's say Reigns has just got 1 for now. It still feels secondary to make it important. That's your main event for Mania.
And yet the man holding the title is ranked the #1 wrestler in the world at the moment.
Well, the title doesn't feel on the same level as Reigns' title. He's held for over 1,000 days.
But yes, because Reigns hasn't done much defending most of this year. You have the current guy holding it, and he's now ranked the #1 wrestler in the world at the moment.
And
he's making the best with that title. I'm not comparing it to Reigns.
He does. He has done. Rollins is good with it. But you want to make it important and really elevate it. That's your main event for night 1, or it's the women. It's one of the two. I'm the biggest Bloodline fan you could probably find. I wouldn't do Jimmy at all. You're making it all about the Bloodline again, and it's like 3.5 years.
But yet the Bloodline have been main eventing for the last few years, so I don't see a problem with Jimmy and Jay main event Mania because there is history and there is a good story to it. So yeah, there's Seth and Gunter would be a good match. If there's a story to build that people can get invested in, then yeah, main event. If there's a women's match that people can be invested in with Rhea Ripley, like say with Liv Morgan when she comes back, then let it main event. But if they can't invest, if the story isn't investing, then it shouldn't main event. And if Jimmy and Jay can tell a good story, let them main event.
Or you do Cena, Cody, Rollins, and Cody pins Cena to become champion, protects Rollins, and there you go. So that will bring intrigue. People are going to think Cena's winning his 17th title, builds a world title, and makes Cody champion.
So you want Cody to beat Rollins for a title?
You could do that. I think you could go that way. Yeah.
But then again, but you see, hit the fans.
Because why isn't Cody going for that? Wrestling's not real. We all know it's scripted, predetermined, blah, 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 blah. But they put it over as real. So in the kayfabe world, people are thinking Cody's going for the title on the other brand and not the title on his brand. That demotes it.
It doesn't really demote it because we've already had Cody versus Seth. And we know that if Cody was to win that title, it wouldn't be the title to finish the story because a member of the Rhodes family has already been world champion. Nobody in that family has held the WWE title.
That's it. Just amazing, boys. Finish the story. There's more of a story with Rock Reigns, but What I'm saying is, wrestling's meant to be real. They put it over as this is real.
Yeah, but it's also
So
real.
why
That
is Cody now Cody going after the title on his brand, regardless who's champion? That's what he should be doing.
Because somebody in his family already won that title. Nobody in the Rhodes family has ever been WWE champion.
So, right, and everybody should get into wrestling to become champion and main event mania. There should be 2 goals for anybody
and that's
that
what
gets
Cody
into
wants to do.
wrestling. So Cody doesn't really want to be world champion.
Because somebody in his family was already world champion. Nobody.
So it demotes the world title. It demotes the world title. Cody's not going for that title.
No, it doesn't demote the world title. It opens the door for someone else to go for it. You can go. Damian Priest can go for it with the Money in the Bank. Gunter is definitely the next in line in future for Mania to go for it. It doesn't demote it. Like you'll put someone else in it.
Cody being positioned, I think he's boring. For me, he does not. And he's not just because he's not Reigns, he's not Bloodline. I like Gunther, I like Judgment Day, I like Damage Control, I like NXT. So it's not just because he's not Reigns, but for me, Cody's as bland as you can get. Every single front. I know you're going to say, well, Reigns has acknowledged me, but that's very arrogance and goes on with his character. But Cody, what do you want to talk about? Tearing off the channel. Jesus. So...
Okay, yeah. No,
Cody's boring for me.
Not everyone likes Cody. I know a few people don't like him.
He should be going for the world title because he demotes it. They position him as a main eventer, even though he's not. He's main evented Backlash. Whoopie-doo. And main evented one Mania wasn't meant to do. Facts are facts, he main evented Mania, but they brought him in because he's the new guy on the scene and it's a good comeback story. He got injured and blah, 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 blah. But he's not really a main eventer, but they are positioning him as one, so he should be going for Rollins. Regardless of, Dusty was never champion in WWE, so a title's a title, a world title's a world title, but he's positioned as a main eventer, so Rollins should be the guy he's going after. If I'm a wrestler and I'm on Raw, why do I want Reigns' title? I want the world title. If it's a legit sport, it's been put over as a legit sport. There you go.
But what if you don't want the world title? What if you want it to break the longest reign title reign of the modern era?
If I was on Raw, I'd want the title on my brand.
But like, even if he doesn't go for the world title, it doesn't devalue it. It opens the door. But does it not open the door for someone else and gives them an opportunity? Like, it's like saying, like, say if you, just let me point that. Say if you have a job and there's a position on it and you turn down the position, that opens the door for someone else to take it.
True.
If you're on a football team and you lose your place on that, that opens the door for the team to let someone else in.
Yeah, but that's real. Wrestling isn't.
I know wrestling isn't real, but it does open the door.
It's put over as real. It's put over as a sport. Football's completely different because that's controlled by the managers and whatever. I suppose wrestling controlled by the booking team. But Cody's position as a main eventer, so he should want the title on his brand. If I'm a main eventer and that's my position in the company, I can understand why he wants Reigns, and that's more alluring, and it's a WWE title, and you'll get in the streak. I understand, but he should want the title on his brand, regardless who's champion.
But look, I don't think it's not because he doesn't want the title. He knows somebody in his family does it. He wants to be the first of the Rhodes family to hold the WWE title. It doesn't devalue the title. It gives someone else an opportunity. Like look at all the people who left. Like look back at the wars in WCW. Like when Hogan left, Shawn Michaels became and Bret took the stars. When Bret left and Shawn got injured, Austin and Rock became the star. The same with Triple H. The same with Foley.
But Dusty was never champion in WWE, so a world title is a world title.
He was the world champion in NWA, so that's
right. Not WWE. So a world title is a world title in WWE.
Yeah, but nobody in the Rhodes family has held the WWE title, and
And who in the Royal Family has held the World Heavyweight title?
Only Dusty. Nobody has held.
Never
Dusty
in WWE.
Never
In WWE,
because
Dusty Rhodes was never world champion.
I know that. Hang on. I know he wasn't. I'm just saying he was the world title in NWA. He wasn't given a chance to be WWE champion because Vince didn't see him that way.
So a world title is a world title in WWE, be it the WWE title, world title, it's a world title. And I've heard like different conversations, like Dusty, apparently like I've heard stuff on YouTube, Dusty didn't really need a title, he was a mega star, and yeah, NWA champion when NWA meant something. So Dusty never really needed the title. So it's just Cody's finishing the story for somebody that never needed to be champion. So it's not really a story. It's just, let's do this story to make it mean something because we couldn't get The Rock.
Well, if he does it, he does it. I will hope. If he does it, if he gets it, he gets it. I mean, if he doesn't go for the world title, it gives the door for someone else. I think Gunter deserves it more. I think Gunter should get more than Cody at the moment for the world title. He has the look to be a world champion. Let Cody finish the story.
Or do you do Gunther, Brock, and then really build Gunther? Yeah, I don't think it's time for Gunther. See, if you don't give the Rumble to Gunther and they don't go Rock Reigns, who else wins it? So yeah,
I think it should be Gunter. It definitely will be Gunter.
Yeah. And then Gunther, Rollins.
There's no one more deserving at the moment than Gunter. I mean, he had a great performance this year. I think he should get it this next year.
But like I've said in the past, if Gunther was a guy to beat Reigns, I wouldn't be opposed to that at all. Reigns could heal it up.
That would be a good match, but I think Reigns, if you had Reigns and Gunter, you probably have to let Reigns be the babyface.
Well, Reigns could heal it up more, like very quickly, and I don't want to take more than like a few seconds to talk about this, but Nia Jax turned heel on a heel, because Rhea's heel, but Nia can heal it up more because the fans hate her.
Mm-hmm.
So that was what they could do with Reigns. Reigns could heal it up more. Gunther could still be heel, but Reigns heals it up more. And well, Ian has gone. Also said Jay should be the one. I won't be opposed to that. Well, that's still bloodline, but
sorry, just a friend wanted to ask me something. Repeat that again.
I was saying I would go with Reigns, Jay winning the title, but I suppose that's still bloodline. But if Jay won the title, I won't be opposed to it. If Solo won the title, again, he's bloodline, so you're kind of keeping the title in the bloodline, but. So it's not the fact that Reigns should never, from a business standpoint, he should never lose because he makes money. But I can accept he's going to lose, but when that is, I don't know. And no one thought it would be 3.5 years. So if he's to pass Bruno, I don't think that's a total shock. I don't think that's a total stretch of the imagination. Nobody thought he'd be champion for 3 years, so...
But you have to give
very
him
quick
to do if you want the title, if you want him to get to that level. But like they've basically nearly used up everyone. They'll have to use up everyone from NXT in order to keep the reign going, and that's all I'll say there.
How you get into that? You have him beat the Rock at Mania, he does something at SummerSlam, and that's it. And then he does nothing. You just keep him. Just so I can be the champion's not there, and Cody's going to be the champion for the people. And really quick, your thoughts on the return of Nia Jax?
I've never been the biggest fan of Nia Jax. I think the only story I ever really liked with Nia was the stuff she was doing with Alexa Bliss. I
don't know if you've caught Raw this week, but it was awful. Yeah. But
I saw what happened.
Came out and buried the women's division. It's like an all-right tag team match, and she came out and just beat them all up. And I thought, well, that's done great for the women's tag team division. Well, he kind of buried anyway, but
she has to. Well, they have to build on. Like there was all speculation that she injured Rhea Ripley. Well, Rhea was not injured because she was in Australia with Buddy Murphy for the Australian Football League.
That's a writer off TV for a week, isn't it?
And then she was back. And then she was obviously probably there was probably a press conference for the Australian show that was announced for Elimination Chamber. She'll be probably coming back and facing Nia at Fastlane, but no, she won't be losing the title to Nia. She'll be holding on to that title for Elimination Chamber and WrestleMania 40.
Oh yeah, Chamber, yeah, she wouldn't shock me if they have Nia beat her. That really wouldn't shock me. Because who else have you got to?
No, I don't think they're going to have anyone beat. I don't think they're going to have anyone beat Rhea between now and Elimination Chamber.
Jim there super over, so probably not. But it wouldn't shock me.
But they haven't really given much competition to Rhea, so no, I don't think Nia will be the one beat her.
If she walks, if they. It's Saudi, you could do a triple threat. If Nia walked out champion and didn't pin Rhea at Saudi, that wouldn't shock me at all. But it's probably not going to happen. I think you keep Rhea champion until Mania. Jimmy Dare super over. They're making money, so why not? But it wouldn't shock me. It's WWE, so. But we've now gone in an hour and a half, so we'll just finish up here. We'll chat for a couple more minutes. So thank you for joining me.
I'm going to have to run actually after this now. So
then.
Work in the morning, so I'll talk to you. But thanks for having me on. It was we got some good points across.
Right, thank you, and see ya.
See ya, bye.
So quickly, so what's coming up will be No Mercy predictions and No Mercy watch along, and then Wrestle Dream predictions and Wrestle Dream watch along. Mentioned it before earlier on. It's in the description. P&P, Pancakes, and Power Slams. This week the 600. Next week the 600th episode, and John Cena's dad will be on there. Q&A, or get on there, ask him a question. On the after party segment, part of it, Brian Clark, Adam Baum. So only $4 a month. Even to your podcasts, DOMCAST and In Time Wrestling Podcast, do go and follow Just In Time 211. If it's your eFeds, TWF Network, ASPW Production, and Raydog Extreme Wrestling, Red Bill Raydog F8. And if you're a promo-based eFeds, it is PPA, Promo Performance Alliance. So again, coming next week, No Mercy predictions and then No Mercy watch along, as well as Wrestle Dream predictions and Wrestle Dream watch along. So you'll join me for those. Do like and subscribe. It's been a long one, an hour and a half now. But once again, like and subscribe. And it is Ricky Goldman. Ricky Goldman. I said Ricky Goldman.